Hello, everyone. Good morning. I see some of us have joined on time. That's great. So we're 5 minutes into the start. So just let's give it some time for more people to join and we'll be right at it. And we'll just get right into it. Once again, you're all welcome to today's workshop, today's ANSC training. And for those who you're new to ANST represents the Association of Nigerian Software Testers, is the parent body that regulates or the parent body for Nigerian software testers who are software testers within Nigeria, right? So we organize events, we organize trainings, and capacity building workshops geared towards improving and upskilling software testers. So once more, you are welcome to today's training. Our facilitator is already on the call. Let me just make him a co-host and we will get right into it. So Morgan, you're very much welcome. Oops. Um, can you hear me, Morgan? Hello, Morgan. Can you hear me? You're muted in case you're speaking. Hello, Morgan. Can anyone else hear me?
Yes, I can.
All
I
right.
can hear you.
Yes, I can.
Thank
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. All right, Morgan, we can't hear you. I don't know if you have any network
Hello.
on your
Can
end.
anyone hear me?
All right, can hear you now. All right.
Hello?
I can hear you now, Morgan. Yes.
Hello?
I can hear you. Okay, so I can hear you, but it seems you can't hear me. We can hear you, Morgan. Okay, I think he has dropped off the call to rejoin, so let's just give him some time. Are there any persons that are new to the ANSC? This is your first interaction with the Association of Nigerian Software Testers. Is there anyone you can signify by just raising your hand or giving an emoji? This is your first interaction with us, with our trainings, live events, conferences, first interaction ever. Anyone? Okay, so Adeshola, you're welcome. Chisom, Oyejide. Deborah, why are you raising your hand? Are you not part of the ongoing training?
Mistake.
It was a mistake. Okay. I was wondering how many Deborah Shoyombo do I know? Okay, so Darif, you want to receive a punch, right? Okay, I think Morgan is having issues with his network. He's yet to
Hi.
rejoin.
Can you hear me?
All right, all right. Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I couldn't hear you initially, so I left to just rejoin back, and it seems to be fine now. So yeah.
All right, all right. So over to you, Morgan. We spent 5 minutes already from your time. So over to you.
All right, guys. So let me just start by quickly sharing my screen. Please let me know if you're seeing it. I'm kind of using like two screens, so sometimes it can be a bit tricky. Um, can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Yes, it's all.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. Um, okay, there you go. Hi guys, good day guys. My name is Michael Morgan, and I'm a cybersecurity professional, and I'm also a software test engineer or a QA, as the case may be. And so today will be it's going to be a very short one anyways for an hour. And to be very fair, an hour normally typically won't be enough, but I mean just because of the timing and what it is, we'll just try and see how much we could cover for an hour. And also we'll just divide this into like two different phases. So we'll have the phase where we'll do like a bit of a talk, and that's why we have this presentation up. And it's just about 4 or 5 slide marks, very just point out here and there. And the next phase is me then sharing my screen to then show you more of I'll call it a mini hands-on or a mini practical, just so we see what it looks like in the real world, more like that. So so we're talking about automating routine QA tasks with AI, how to boost productivity and efficiency. And I think the key words for me there will be automating, routine, AI, productivity, and efficiency. So that will be the key word for me there. If we bring it down to like a granular level, basically everything we do today has to do with AI. AI is actually is taking over almost every single industry you can think of, whether it's tech, whether it's health, whether it's oil and gas, just name it, whatever you're thinking of. And it's at this point, it's coming at a very fast pace, more than even what we can imagine. So it's important to start getting aligned or acquainted with AI itself. And as a software tester, one of the parts where this comes to play for you is trying to know the different tools that you can actually use for it to make to be more productive and efficient in terms of your testing. I mean, it's very okay to actually scrap out like any procedure or processes you use that's actually very manual and can be automated. So if it can be automated, then I mean it should be automated so that you could actually think of something that's more productive, right? So this will actually be very important one. Also, this one of the highlights I'm trying to also share here is the fact that with the help of these AIs, you don't really people who are scared of coming into software testing, especially going into automation, they could actually rely on like no code AI applications to be able to carry out like automation testing. So unlike the native ones we have like Selenium, Cypress, and the rest, so you could actually, with the help of AI in place right now, have applications that are fully built with AI where all you need to do is communicate with the application like you're communicating with a normal plain English. There's no code involved, nothing like that. I mean, one or two syntaxes here and there, but yeah, that would be that. So I'll just go on to the next slide. So we'll just divide this into three, like I mentioned, very simple slide, nothing too complicated. So firstly, AI for defect detection. So we have AI powered tools that can actually detect any defects in applications, not just applications, even down to your code, even down to UI inconsistencies, and also trying to flag very little pointers that normally the human eye would not be able to detect. And one of those applications we'll be looking today is Test Rigor. Test Rigor is an AI-powered application, built-in functionality. It has a whole lot of functionalities in it. But again, like I mentioned, just because of the time we have, we'll not be able to go deeply into Test Rigor. But we'll see the application, we'll see how it works like on a surface level and how it can even be connected to GitHub for CI and CD. That's continuous integration and development as well. So for AI, I will give a typical instances in terms of this defect, or I'll try as much as I can to be very basic. I mean, if we speak the big grammar and people do not understand, then I don't think the message has been passed. So I'll try and be as basic as possible, right? So for AI today, if you're building an application and let's say from the interface, I'll use like a typical AI, let's say a login page. And let's say the login page after a code refactor and a push, for some reason, maybe the login page is moved a bit, just slightly. It will almost be impossible for the human eye to be able to detect that slight shift of maybe the AI functional, the login functionality. But with things like AI, it could literally detect that there has been a slight shift on it. And depending on the AI tool, it can either point that out to you or it could actually adjust your test to fit into that little adjustment that's happened on there. However, most of the AI tools I've seen will literally flag that to you to say, oh, there's a bit of an inconsistency in terms of this. So most of them, what they do is most of those AI tools, it gives you the previous um login functionality, how it looks like. Then it reports the new login functionality to say, oh, this is where the shift happened, or this is how the shift happened. Also, in terms of false positive and false negative. So, false positive, for instance, is a situation where we see something as a bug, but it's not actually a bug, right? That's false positive. And for things like that, it could actually be tricky when it comes to using your natural human mind to actually focus on it. So AI can actually be able to detect things like that and spit it out to say, oh no, this is actually not an error. This is what it's supposed to be, or oh yes, this is an error, but you're passing your test, but however, this is supposed to be failed. So that's where false positive and false negative comes into play. And it does this with a very high level of accuracy for most of the tools I've actually seen, right? So that's for defect detection. Also AI for root cause analysis, right? For new root cause analysis as well, there are lots of AI tools on there that could actually analyze code, analyze your test result, analyze your test script. It analyzes every single thing and it lets you know if there's an error in any of your codes or any of your. I'll be mentioning more of like maybe test scripts more from a postman point of view or API point of view. And I mean, also it doesn't mean it doesn't function in terms of maybe you writing codes for maybe using your Selenium or Cypress. All of those, it actually works on there. So it literally goes through your code to let you know in conjunction with whatever application you're testing to let you know that, oh, there's an inconsistency in your code, or maybe even from the application itself to say, oh, it gives you like suggestion or recommendation to say if this application is built this way or if this particular functionality is done this way, it will help improve your code. So that's one way where it comes in terms of root cause analysis. And also put on there some tools like some good tools, test rigor again, still appearing there, Cypress, Central, and the rest. And one benefit about the root cause analysis is, again, for root cause analysis, it's more like you writing a code and you're going through the code to see where, let's say you have a bug or maybe there's a flag on the code, you're going to like find where this flag is. Sometimes it could actually take a very long time for you to figure out where the error is on your code. So with AI, it does this with lots of efficiency, automatically increasing your productivity. As you can see there, it reduces debugging time from 30% to 50%, which is actually a very good one, right? For some of those AI tools, you don't even need to do anything. For some of them, all that they do is they go through your code, they see the inconsistency, they flag it to you, however, they fix it and they let you know what has been fixed. So those things could happen in even splits of seconds, right? So if I'm using an AI tool integrated, if the AI tool could do that in, let's say, a minute, for instance, on a typical day, that could take me maybe 30 minutes or even an hour or more to be able to figure out what the root cause typically is and what is flagged. So that's one way as well where AI has come to play a very vital role when it comes to software testing. And on here, I have AI for exploratory testing and test coverage. I think if you're working as a contractor, as a software tester, one of the tricky things I've seen is if they give you a particular application to test, most of the times in terms of exploratory testing to let them know, okay, this is what I found out, this is the time it will take for me to be able to do that. It could actually be very tricky. Also, when they try to, maybe the vendor, whoever contracted you, try to explain the application to you, they will give you this explanation in a very skeletal format. And when you start testing the application, they then found out that, oh, it's way, way above what you actually thought of. So it could be very, very tricky. And I've seen that over and over and over again. And it's very easy for you to shoot yourself on the leg because you could say, oh, from what I've seen, I can take 2 weeks in testing this particular application. However, when you go deeper, you then find out that, oh, you might need another 2 weeks, which then would cut it with you and the vendor. And that's one way where AI actually come into play. So AI could actually carry out exploratory testing that's in a very efficient way. Also, in terms of the coverage, I've forgotten the name of the AI tool I used. I used it just once, and what it was able to do was it was able to do like a very quick exploratory testing and give a list of the coverage, the important coverage I should focus on, or functionalities. Because again, one of the principles of software testing is exhaustive testing is impossible. So you can't test everything. You only have to test. Um, you basically, not only anyway, have to test like those very important functionalities, and then maybe any other coverage you can have. Also, one thing I have there, I also mentioned very well. I think I like about these AI tools is in terms of the self-healing. So for self-healing, it's just the same thing I've mentioned initially. If there is maybe, let's say there is an inconsistency or there's a change in maybe your application, what the AI tool can be able to do is actually refactor maybe that line of code to fit into the change. And what it then does is it prompts you to also review it, because even if AI is actually very efficient, you can't trust AI 100%, and that's why you need humans as well. And that's why the idea for all of this is AI does not is not supposed to replace software testers, but rather amplify the capability of software testers. You still have to do some reviews, and if you've used like things like Copilot, Microsoft Copilot, I think towards the end, each time it gives you a response, it let you know that not in direct speech, but it let you know that you could actually, like, you need to review this. There could actually be some errors. So you actually still need like humans for them to also interact with these AI tools. Now, I think this is this last slide before I will start showing one or two stuff on the screen. So I'll show a bit of their setting. I've been privileged to work with a company that train AI for a short period of time. So they train different models of AIs. And one thing I've got to find out before then was I used to feel like, oh, if I go to a typical chat GPT or Copilot, I could just type anything and it gives me a result. However, you have to, there are ways you could prompt the system to give you specifics of what you want, right? Two different people might have the same task, and they go to, say, a chat GPT to type in whatever they need to prompt chat GPT to give them a result, and it gives them totally different results, right? So I would look into that a bit. And also I want to also mention that if you are in a position where you can leverage any of these tools, trust me, I would advise you to always do that. Because one thing I also found out is people are a bit skeptical in using these AI tools. I'll give you a typical example. I was working on a project with someone, and again, still the same issue of exploratory testing. We thought we could meet up like maybe 2 3 weeks, and we started working on it, and towards the end of it, we got to find out that the API was like a whole lot than we could imagine. So we had 1 week to cover up for the API, which was, humanly speaking, very, very impossible because you have to test different happy and edge cases and also write the test script. I think the main challenge there was the test script part of it, because you're writing those test scripts for all of those functionalities. That would take us at least, if you're working for 8 hours, at least it would take us 2 weeks, right? If you're doing like a part-time, you should be looking at maybe 3 weeks plus. So what I came up with was letting this guy know that, oh, we would do the test, but we need to use like an AI tool. And for sure, for me, what came to my mind was ChatGPT, for ChatGPT to assist us in writing the test script, right? Then we validate the test script, and that's fine. But he was not buying the idea. I don't know why he was not buying the idea. So I mean, we just kind of shared the tax anyway, and I think in like 4 to 5 days, I was done with mine. But it took him almost 2 weeks to be able to finish whatever he was doing. So again, if you look at that, that still aligns with what we have here today: productivity and efficiency, right? That, for me, that was a routine task. However, I will also mention that you cannot just jump into any of these AI tools and prompt them to give you an information without understanding what it's giving you. And a typical example again will be using the test script. If you do not understand how the test script works, the AI could application could give you any random thing, and all you then do is copy and paste, and you just run a wrong script, or a script that does not align with whatever you're testing. So you need to at least have understanding of whatever code the AI is giving you for you to be able to then make sense out of it. Right. So I think I will just stop this here, and let me see. Please, can you just confirm if you can still see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yes,
Oh,
we can see your screen.
Yes,
Yeah.
I can see your screen.
okay, thank you. Let me see, I should move this out. Right, so this is one of the application I mentioned. This is Test Rigor. I already started playing with it because it's been a
Sorry,
minute.
we're seeing the slide. We're still seeing the slide, not your screen.
Okay, let me just stop sharing this, and I think I was sharing just that particular. Right. Yeah. Can you see this now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you very much. So this is one of the many applications I've been able to use Test Rigor. However, just to point out, I have no affiliation with Test Rigor. It was just one of the ones I feel like, oh, this is actually one of the best tools I've used in terms of increasing productivity and also in terms of efficiency as well. Test Rigor, for one, is actually in a no code application. So you don't need to learn any kind of code, whether it's Java or JavaScript or Python, for you to be able to use Test Rigor. Also, you write your test cases in plain English, and the system actually maintains your test script for you. You could use different extensions. So I'll just I want to show you this one last anyway, but I'll just show us this real fast. So on here, you could actually create your test suite. And for the test type, you could do desktop web testing, mobile web testing, and you could also use different OS. However, this is actually like a trial version. So for right now, you just have Ubuntu, but you can have Windows here, you can have Mac here, and for the browser as well, you can have even more than this if you're using like the more like the paid version for it. And it supports for sure cross browsing. It also supports CL and CD. So you could connect this to your GitHub and be able to manage it from your GitHub. So let me just go into one of this anyway, straight up here. We'll come back to this, but right. Right. So this is a typical interface of how the test rigor looks like. It has like a whole lot in it, over here, let me just go start from here. I might be very random on this again because of the time we have. So I'll just be very random on it. So test rigor has the CI/CD integration where you can actually integrate this with any of the tools like GitHub or what do you call the other one? There's one very popular one I also used to like Bitbucket. I like Bitbucket as well. So I've used this in both of them. I was like very efficient in terms of that. It keeps any error logs for you here. It has a tree view. I think we'll show a bit of more of this. I don't have anything here. It has okay, yeah. So it gives you like a tree view just to let you know like some the processes that's run. It gives you a report as well. Let's see if I have anything here. So it gives you a report. So automatically, most of the time you see you need to like get like a report to share maybe to different persons in the organization, or if it's a contract job, you need to then start doing this. If you're using like Google Sheet and the rest to do all of this, but this is being done by Test Rigor automatically, and you can also download it. And I think for the again, I noticed as well that they've been like improving this as time goes on. You can also connect this to Jira. You can connect this to Jira. So I'll just show you. Although I'm not logged into Jira for some reason here, but let's see here. I think that's right. There's this particular, let's see, functionalities I want to show here. Right. Okay. So you could actually connect this to Jira. In terms of if there's an error, you connect this to Jira. You could use like label to be able to track any of your test cases. You could edit the test. You could retest. You can also disable a particular test. You can delete. You can view. So all of these functionalities are what tools like Test Rigor has. Comparing this to the traditional automation tools like maybe Selenium, which is one I found very so I feel for Selenium is just a bit heavy, but comparing these tools to tools like Selenium, you don't need an editor, you don't need to have a programming knowledge. Also, all these are actually built into the system. It also has its own extension. I'll come back to this a bit, but I want to go over and show us certain things on. I'll show us a bit of Postman, and I'll show us a bit from the ChatGPT as well. So I'll go over here to Postman. So this is just like dummy data I have for Postman. And right, so for Postman itself, it has the post bot, and I would advise anyone to use them as much as they can. If I can write a test script in in a split of seconds and save myself about maybe say 15 minutes or 10 minutes each time, I mean, that is actually you increasing your productivity and also you increasing your efficiency. So we just do a typical here for those people who have not actually maximized or used the postbot in Postman. So this here is as you can see here, that's the postbot that is designed to show that oh, you have a postbot functionality on your test script section, and you can just call it out on by using Control Alternate P if you're using a window. So typically, let's see, let's do a bit of a practical. So I'll just call that out, and I'll just say um, so I'm saying write me a text script using the response body, right? So I'll just do enter. Now, as you can see, it's trying to analyze this. Played around with this a whole lot. I just hope it doesn't change the algorithm. Yeah, so as you can see, this took like almost a split of seconds. right, to be able to write all this. Now, to let you also know something about this AI, like I mentioned initially, you can't trust them 100%. From what I can see here, if I need to tweak this, I then still need to prompt it if I want to, or take out what I don't need, then write what I need. But again, you don't even need to necessarily write. So I'll prompt this again to say, let's say, um, see, also restaurant code. I'll read this out and all right. So I'm telling it right now to delete this current test script is written. I've also told it to add a response code, and I've also told it to take out all of the comments. So I'll just do enter and let's see how that looks like. Okay, so right on here, if we can see, it took out the initial test script we had, and it's giving me all of this. It's also giving me now a response code. This is also still not what I necessarily need. I can still prompt this further to give me exactly what I need. But I also like the fact that so when AI make a mistake, they don't use the word mistake, we call it hallucinate. So I like the fact that he hallucinated here because I said don't give me a comment, but he actually still gave me a comment. But however, if you look at it, I might have made a mistake in even typing something like comment, then he processed it as something else. So the take home here for me would be instead of writing all of this that could take me, let's say, 10 minutes, we could actually use AI to increase your productivity and efficiency and write this like in a split of seconds, right? So automatically, generally, it makes your work even more than 15 times faster than whatever you're doing. So I would encourage people to actually be able to use this particular AI tool. Now, I'll also take us to I'll take us to ChatGPT, which is, I mean, fair, ChatGPT is one of my best so far. I know we have things like the DeepSeek that just came out, but I still prefer ChatGPT to some extent. Maybe because I'm comfortable with it, which is actually fine. It depends on whatever you're comfortable with. And what I'll do now is, if I was to test this particular endpoint, and I wanted using a ChatGPT, for instance, for me, I will take this response here and I'll take that to ChatGPT. So typical interface of ChatGPT, just to also, just a pointer here as well. When you write in our test script, you don't need to write a heavy test script to show that, oh, I'm actually very good at writing test scripts. If you speak to people that have been like in the system for a very long time, also mostly even developers that are like senior developers, they'll let you know that the best codes to write are actually the simplest code. It doesn't have to be complicated for it to be best. These days, like most of the code, most of the applications are written like in very lightweighted format, right? And typically you would see it here for ChatGPT. This is ChatGPT. This is all you just see for ChatGPT. However, with everything that has been seen here, behind it, there's actually a heavy code running. So this is just actually a very simple interface. So when writing your test script, try and make it as simple as possible. It doesn't have to be complicated. So now to also show us how ChatGPT, which is an AI tool, can be able to help us, because to me, writing this test script right now, because we have AI tools that can do that, for me personally, I would see that as a very routine task, right? All of these AI tools can do comfortably, to me, those are routine tasks, right? It can actually be done by this application. Like I also mentioned, if you're using a particular AI tool like ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Copilot, just depending on whatever you use, everything depends on the prompt. The way you actually prompt the application then depends on how the information it gives to you. So what I'll do right now is I'll paste this here and I'll say, right, uh, three, uh, start. code. So I just say write me a Postman test script and include the status code. So we'll just run this through and see what then happens here. Now, from what we can see, it's literally just giving me every information I need on here in terms of my test script. This is a standard test script, right? This is what is given to me straight up. And I can decide to take this way because I understand everything.
I don't remember.
Sorry, is someone trying to speak? Hello?
You can continue, sir.
All right, thank you. Right. So I could literally copy this and just the way it is and paste it on my test script. I mean, let's even just do that. So see what. Right. So I'll just copy this and I'll paste it here, and I would. Yeah. So just let me just reload this page. Sorry, I think it's been a bit slow. 47. That's fine. Okay, right. Okay, so I'll just send this endpoint. Right, so as you can see on here, it gave me a 200. However, if you see what I was mentioning about you being able to also go through whatever information is given to you. So on here, it's showing that a particular test result actually failed on here. And we can easily, so let's see, we can trace that to be, because this is into 4, 1, 2, 3, and this is the fourth one. So if it's pointing to the second one, I would know it should be this guy here. So let me just take up that and save it as well, then run that again. Now, as you can see, my test script is actually run and everything is looking very okay. So I think this was actually a very typical example of letting you know that in as much as the AI tools can increase this efficiency and productivity, they could actually hallucinate and give you something you do not need. And that's why I mentioned that for you to use them, for me to use it right now, I need to know and understand what is here. If I do not understand this, I just put it there, it fails, I don't understand what to do, I'm confused. So I will always advise for you to also have a knowledge on how to write a typical test script before you then go around and play with that. Also, I'll just keep this in from a security point of view. AI tools can also not be 100% trusted in terms of security. They could actually be hacked, and you have to be cautious of the informations you copy and paste on there. If we look on this is actually an information, but this information is more of a general information because it's out there, right? It is a book. Anyone, if you go check on the book, you will see the year it was published. You will see all of those
On the
information.
front, right?
You see all of those information online. So I'm very confident that if I put this on ChatGPT, I'm good to go. However, think of you testing from an application that say a bank application, and maybe the API was built to give you informations where you then have to see some information, some PII, personal identifiable information about a particular customer. You would not want to copy everything here and just go and slam it on what you call it, on ChatGPT. You would not want to do that because that could actually lead to it could lead to a data breach, right? And that would be very terrible. So if I'm asked a way to suggest to go about that, one thing I can say is if I let me just take this off. So if I copy this on here, and what I would typically do is paste it on maybe a notepad firstly on my system. Then if I have this as maybe someone's name, I might have to take that off and maybe just input something very random there. If it's the person's date of birth, I can easily take that out and put something very random there, something that doesn't really connect to that particular individual. So I could put just even if it's gibberish on there, right? So at that point, I know, okay, this is actually safe to some extent, right? Other than that, I also know if you also know you have some snippets here as well you can use in writing some of your test script. So for me, these are ways you can literally, if I'm able to test this on my own for let's say an hour, right? If I'm using an AI tool, I could test this in half an hour, right? It has saved me 30 minutes of my time. Automatically, it has improved my productivity and my efficiency, right? So I think this is this should be a very good pointer. Try and maximize AI as much as you can. One thing I will also say is the idea. There's always a discussion about if AI is coming to would take will take people's job, right? Now, I think that's one for me. That is one part of the discussion. The second part of the discussion is would people who know how to leverage AI actually take other people's job? Because if someone has an application or a tool that uses AI, they need someone who understands how to use AI and that to be able to work. So they would prefer someone that has that skill set than just someone random. So my advice there is always try and improve in anything you have to do with maybe your face of work or generally about AI, just pay very close attention to that, right? So I think this point I will come over here to the test rigor just to also give you a bit of insight from this point where how it works. I already initially showed us here that we could actually you could test your different test suits here, input all the information you need on here, um, depending on whatever you're testing. If you're testing like a desktop web testing, mobile or native hybrid mobile, you could actually do all of those on here. The good thing also with Test Rigor and other tools I've also seen is most of them are integrated with browser stack as well. So I mean, you have it seems if I put it this way, it seems they took everything from maybe other native automation tools and they integrated it into one. So you have almost everything in one, right? And for things like test rigor as well, you have the document. I have the documentation here, well documented. And if we go, oh, let's see a typical. Let me just take this a bit up to show. Right? So you will see this is like a documentation, for instance, for the test rigor. Right? If you see the syntaxes and the commands, they are very, very straightforward. On here, they let you know the action you can carry, which is a click. They let you know the different option. You can double click, you can triple click, right click, and all of those. And it says here, click Chrome in the context of this. It's just very straightforward. Click on the third hello 5 times. So it's as if you're conversing with someone, right? That's how most of all these no code test automation tools have actually been built. So it makes it like way, way easier for anyone who is in the tech space who doesn't have that skill to write programming language or who wants to increase their efficiencies. And trust me, with these tools, what I've noticed over the time is they keep adjusting and keep making it even more sophisticated while giving you a very simple user interface, right? So okay, I think we have like 15 minutes. So I know, like I mentioned, this was going to be like very short one. And I would have loved to start writing, but let me show you certain things here. I think I'll be random, like I mentioned. So let's assume I have these two test cases here, right? And what I want to then do is integrate this to my GitHub, right? So over here on the CI like CD integration, for instance, you're already automatically giving a bash or PowerShell script that you could use in integrating this directly with your GitHub, right? So if I come here, for instance, we could just do a practical on this. All I need to do is to copy all of this up to this point. And if I go to my GitHub, for instance, I already have one created here. I've played around with this today. I just hope just try and run this very fast because so I'll just do like a test. I'll create this just very first for this. I'll just create this as test, and I'll just create the repo. So over here, I have created this repo, and I'm trying to integrate my test repo now to my GitHub, right? So I will just go to action. So what I'm trying to do here right now is to create like a workflow, right? A workflow that each time that's integrated with test Rigor, and again for continuous integration. Also, it also helps for collaboration with the developer. The developer can be able to see, have visibility of what I'm also doing, right? So I can come here, I'll say set up a workflow yourself. I'll click this here, and right, so over here, all I need to do is to come here and paste this here, right? The first time I did this, I had an error here, and also let you know the importance or how personally I so much advocate for people to use AI tools. You do not really, if you use AI tools, you do not really, sometimes you don't really need to wait for someone to then say, oh, this is where the issue is. If I have someone who's like, let's say, a senior QA tester, and the person is not available at the time, and I need to meet up to a particular time, I don't, it will take me time. I'm waiting for the person 1, 2 hours before the person comes. I could easily prompt any of the AI tool like ChatGPT or Deepfake to say, okay, I have this particular code or YAML file. This is the error it's giving me. Can you please let me know? And that was exactly what I did for this particular one. So I copied it and I pasted it. I had some issues and I did that, and it was able to fix that for me. So you put it on here. All you need to do, then you commit this. I'll just do this, keep this like very simple as much as I can, just for the purpose of time as well. Right, so we have this now created. So I'll go back to the actions, and right, so we have test Rigor, which is what we used on there. And here you have run workflow. So if I click on run workflow, I've been having issues with this for today, my GitHub. But let's see what happens there. Yeah, so over here, as you can see on my runner, so, okay. So over here, as you can see, is running the test already. And if we go over here, as you can see, it's saying in progress, it's already automatically triggered it, right? So I don't need to do much. So it's triggering this already. Some of this might fail because I use like a dummy. I use this orange HRM, so it's actually more like a dummy site for testing. So, however, this is just to let you see how you can actually leverage, and it's giving you here, you can see your test case have been executed, it's showing you here in progress. If you go over to your GitHub as well, it's also letting you know that this is actually being triggered right now. This might also take a bit of a time because I think one of these guy here, one of the test cases here has to do with uploading a file here, and it could take a bit of a time, but let's just see what happens. Right. So as you can see, you could easily integrate your your AI tools to GitHub, right? Now, just to also point out here, um, GitHub can trigger the test, right? But it doesn't sync any changes that has been done. So if there's any change that has been done, it doesn't really, so there's no really straight up connection between GitHub and your test Rigor in terms of maybe you going to do any update there and it automatically updates your test Rigor. There's no direct connection on there. But however, you can use your webhook to be able to sync it in a way where if you make any adjustment here on test Rigor, you automatically then adjust on your GitHub. Now, if we see here, this has failed, and the reason why it has failed for sure, I know over here, if you log into this particular platform, which is also a test platform. So what they've done here is over here, this, what you can see here that's looking like the profile section, this actually is very dynamic. So if I'm putting on my code, if I go to my code, so one thing about Git test rigor as well is that you can actually do like you can hard code. So if I open this up, I'll show you as well. Let's say edit test. Yeah, edit test, guys. Right. So this is my test case. As you can see, you have login and logout. Then you wonder where is actually the test itself actually written. So what I've done is I've actually more like, let's see here, no, not here. Yeah. So what I've done here is I've actually parameterized it on here. So this is my login. So this is everything login here. So instead of me having all of this here, all I've done is just use login basically, and it actually works with the parameterization on here. And this is my logout as well. Now, if you see, it says click on this and click on the logout button, right? So if we go to the application, we'll see that this is actually generic. So that has actually changed. So click here and click on logout, right? But this is generic, so automatically it will fill, and that's why we have our test being filled here. Yeah, that's why we have our test being filled here, right? So if I click on this as well, it will let you know. Let me see, there's something here. Okay. Right. So when I mentioned about I mentioned something initially that one good thing about these AI tools is you don't it helps you in every form of way. This is what is done here. It lets me know the old screen, right? This was initially successful, right? So it's giving me to say, oh, this guy was this screenshot here was the old one that was actually successful. However, he also points, I don't know if you can see that, yeah. So he also pointed on here to say, okay, this was what was initially there and it has actually changed now. So if we go to this particular one that has failed, as you can see, that has changed. So you do not really have to start stressing yourself that much to figure out, oh, what's happening? Why did it fail? And all of those. This AI tool automatically does all this for you, right? So that's one very good benefit actually using this. And if you come here, it will actually be able to let you see whatever has failed. And if you want to fix that as well, we can easily fix that also from this particular end, right? There's a replace selection, find all. Now, if you have different test cases that has a particular failure, you don't have to go and start looking for them individually. All you need to do is to find all here, then it gives you whatever it needs to be, then you replace all. Again, this is not like the best of demo itself just because of the time we have, but just if there's any other thing I want you to take out from here is to actually see how important AI tool can be able to help you increase your productivity and efficiency, and also how you can then start learning to leverage this AI tool to make things easier for you. Again, you have to start working smart and not like hard. And that I'm a very big fan of it. Work smart and not hard, right? So, right. So this actually replaces every single thing if we're actually able to go deep into this to show what it does. Also, in terms of little things like maybe uploading a file. Now, I have one here that has to do with uploading a file, right? And if we go to this particular, let's just edit this test case. And I was actually using this for the test. This is also like a sample test website where you could actually do all those. Unlike the typical Selenium and Cypress, where you have to then start looking for maybe the paths. So let me just inspect this. Now, if I inspect this, if I'm to write like maybe a Selenium or a Cypress, I need to start getting maybe the ID, get this and that, and all those. For things like AI tools like Test Rigor, they've made this like really, really way easier. All I needed to do here was open this URL, Now enters, this is actually a syntax, right? Enter stored value, this into this. Now, so this is a file upload. This file upload is the only part I need from, let me go back here. That's the only part I need from this when I inspect. I only need this ID, and that's all I need, file upload. Once I input that file upload here, once I input that file upload here and also click on upload, check also, it helps in assertion, right? So this is check that the page contains file uploaded, right? So if we run this as well, let me just even run this, save and run. Right here. Now, so automatically it's running this. Okay, I think after this, that should be, yeah. So automatically it's running this. I mean, this was the initial, you also can see it's giving you screenshots of what it's doing, and you can see how fast it can actually be. So this typically would take me, let's say another 10 to 15 minutes. Say, so let's say another 10 to 15 minutes that would take me to run. But however, see how fast and efficient this AI tool has actually been able to give me all of this result. I mean, it's not done yet. I think it's still trying to check like some stuff. Also, in terms of their session, it checks their session to see, okay, file uploaded, and we have that to be very successful. Okay, I think we have just 3 minutes left, and I have another section of after this. And like I mentioned, this was supposed to be just for an hour, and I hope I've been able to like at least speak to some extent how important using these AI tools can be. You could also recommend that. So some persons might say, "Oh, my company don't use this application," but again, you're not just there to test. You're actually part of a full team, if you're working like in an agile team, it's good for you to, if you explore this tool, you feel like this tool will be able to help increase the productivity and efficiency of the work we do. You could typically recommend it to your management, to your boss to say, oh, look at this tool, this is what it does. We can be able to use it to increase maybe our productivity tests and try and convince them for them to be able to use them, not just maybe just stick to maybe, oh, this is all we'll have. No. And yeah, I think I've been able to say a lot in a very short period of time. So if you have any information, any question, maybe we could just use the next 2 minutes to just ask those questions before we can call that a day. And feel free to also like reach out to me if you need any further insight on it on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to also assist.
Thank you so much, Morgan. Thanks a lot. Let's appreciate Morgan. For those who have questions, please do well to drop them in the chat. There's currently a poll um on regarding this workshop. Please let's participate in the poll. Let's cast our votes. I know that Morgan had said he'd be available for just 1 hour. Today is a bit busy for him. So we're very grateful. I'm not seeing any reactions. Let's show our gratitude. Thanks a lot, Morgan. I have some questions I'll quickly take in 1 minute. Someone's asking if there's any other open source tool that is similar to Test Rigor that can be used.
Yeah, we have like a whole lot of them. If I must start thinking them off my head, we have Test Rigor, we have Max. I think it's MapLab Machine. We have Apply Tool. We have Percy. There's a whole lot of them. Trust me. Or I would advise, if you want to get these tools, just check online. Just type online, or you could even use again leverage any of the AI tools as well to get this information. They'll give you like a whole lot of it, and you really do not even necessarily need anyone to start teaching you. You could literally go on YouTube, right, and just search for these applications, and you would see like some information there on how to start using them.
All right, thanks a lot, Morgan. There was this exploratory tool you said you used once. Do you remember the name now? Would be helpful.
I think that was I think that was the sea light one. Sea lights. I think that
Can you
was
type it
that.
in the chat? Thank
Yeah.
you.
I think I'll just drop. I know I use sea light a bit and also coverage AI. Let me just drop that here.
Yes. While you're dropping those two in the chat, Olawale has a question as to how to handle tokens for APIs when using the, I'm assuming Okay, he says he's working on demoqa.com, and his question is how to handle tokens for APIs. If I got that correctly. Yeah.
Okay. So for tokens for APIs, again, for when we do this testing, part of we are doing a bit of security testing, like if you from where I stand anyway, we are doing a bit of security testing. So if you have like a token, I think that will also depend on how that API has been built. However, let me see if this is possible. Let's see if there's something I can show here real quick. Just one moment. I'm running out of time, but let's see. Token. Right. So for the token, right, you could have on your, oh, let me just share my screen real quick, but I think this will just be it after I share. So I'll just show you how, let's see here. Sorry. Go. This guy now. Okay. Right. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, it's all.
Yeah. So typically for tokens, normally everyone will just basically most people will just go to authorization, and you have like the normal or basic or bearer token. So for bearer token, for instance, if you're doing that from the authorization point, all you need to do is to change the auth type to bearer token, and you impute the token here and you save it, right? Again, it depends on how the API was actually built. You can also do that from the header. From the header here, you could just add authorization. And if you had, and I have say Vera, and so if you had code token, right, is a different thing, right? But if you don't have good decoding, the token, all you need to do is to paste the token here after the bearer token, and you save, right? But however, if you've had coded the token, which is what personally for me I always encourage because it's just a part of security. All you then need to do here is to, if you see, just by typing this curly bracket, it will give me like some information on whatever I've hard coded, right? So if you've hard coded the token, right, and you're doing that all the way from your environment, right? If you hard coded it, once you just type on just the first curly bracket there, it gives you, you will be able to see that bearer token, and you can easily just say select it, and you just see like a blue tick like this, and you hover it, you can see the token. So my point would be you can either do it from the header part, or you can also do it from the authorization part. So if that answers the question.
All right, thank you so much, Morgan. We're very, very grateful. I know we're out of time already. We hope to have a part 2 of this, based on the poll response. So we hope it will be at a time that you are more available, so that we don't stress you this much. I hope to have you again. Will you be willing to come back again?
Yeah. Maybe some other time. I mean, it's more
Yeah.
more convenient again. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. But yeah.
No problem. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much, Morgan, for the insightful session.
Yeah, thank
Do
you for having me. I appreciate
have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank
it. All right.
you.
All right. Thank you
David,
very much.
thank you. Morgan, thank you.
All right. Bye now. Thanks.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Morgan.
Has been on the call. Please do fill the poll.
Thank
I
you,
see
Morgan.
some of the responses already there. Thanks, guys, and see you during our next workshop or webinar. Do have a good Saturday.
Hope we get to see the recording of this section, please.
You will.
Thank you so much.